In this video, you are going to learn how to use another type of loop in your programs. This loop is called the do-while loop, and it's very similar to the while loop. Let's look at the basic syntax of a do-while loop. Now these two loops look pretty much the same, except that they have one main difference. Notice how our condition is at the end. This means that our code will run at least once, and then our condition is run after our code. This means that no matter what, a do-while loop will run at least once. A while loop, on the other hand, is possible to not run at all. What's a good example of a do-while loop? We can use a do-while loop when we want to make sure something has to happen, like prompting a user for information, for example. We use the do-while loop when you want to make sure that your loop runs at least once. That's the main use for it, really. Now let's create a program that collects a user's name. In order for the program to complete, the user has to submit their name no matter what. Follow along with me as I create this program. So, of course, we're going to start off with a variable. We're going to call it user's name, and we're going to use this variable to prompt the user and ask them for their name. Once we have our prop command all ready to go, we will now actually set our condition for our loop. So we're going to do something a little bit differently here. And we're going to take our user's name, and we're going to add if our user's name is equal to null, or if user's name is greater than or equal to 0. And what this is doing is the null keyword stands for if the user cancels the prompt. So what happens here is if the user cancels the prompt, then the loop will run. We also added the equals to 0 and higher if the user leaves the field empty. So the user just can't hit OK and leave the text field empty. We're also going to write our document.write command for when the user does actually write their name. Now, normally you wouldn't do this because this creates a prompt box that is basically forces your user to type their name and nothing else. If they type in a number, or if they hit the cancel or leave the value empty, then the prompt will keep running. It's basically forcing the user to type in a string. But just for example's sake, let's save this program and run it and see what happens. Alright, here, so it's prompting me for my name. First off, I'm going to hit OK, and we can see that the prompt box does not go away. If I hit cancel, the exact same thing happens. We are basically forced to enter in a string here, and now the program can complete. So this is a prime example of a do-while loop. We use a do-while loop when we want to make sure that our code executes at least once, and then our condition is checked after that code runs at least once. Now you know how to use a while and a do-while loop. Now let's look at the last type of loop you are going to learn, called a for loop.